We now open item 11, election of the members of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. As indicated in the provisional timetable of this session, this item will be open today, but it will not be finalized until later. I now give the floor to the Secretariat to give us some information on this item. Ms. Ohinata, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. It is a pleasure to take you through the procedure. In conformity with Article 6 of the Convention, the General Assembly shall renew half of the states members of the committee every 2 years. In other words, 12 states parties will be elected to serve the committee for a term of 4 years from the date of election, that is from 2022 to 2026. Pursuant to Article 14.1 of the Rules of Procedure, 3 months before the opening of the present session of the Assembly, the Secretariat requested all states parties to indicate whether they intend to stand for election to the committee. The Secretariat then published the provisional list of candidate states on 7th of June this year, 4 weeks before the opening of the Assembly. You may find the list in the information document 11 that I've set. Through this information document, the Secretariat also provided information on all compulsory and voluntary contributions to the fund. And then this information document was revised 7 times, so it carries the code Rev 7. The revisions were necessary in order to recognize new candidatures, withdrawal of candidatures, or updates on the status of compulsory and voluntary contributions. All candidate states at this election have satisfied their obligations to the fund as required by Article 26.5 of the Convention and Rule 14.2 of the Rules of Procedure. The Secretariat is pleased to confirm that the candidates are eligible to stand for the election of the members of the Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. In addition, the Secretariat is also able to confirm that the continuing members of the committee whose term of office ends in 2024 have all satisfied the requirement under Article 26.5 of the Convention as regards their compulsory or voluntary contributions. Allow me, Madam Chairperson, to introduce candidate states parties now. For electoral groups 1, 3, and 5A, the number of candidate state party or states parties correspond to the number of vacant seats. This means we have a clean slate situation for these 3 groups where all candidates will become the committee members automatically without election. For electoral groups 2, 4, and 5B, the number of candidate states parties exceeds the number of seats to be filled, and therefore voting shall be conducted by a secret ballot. Document Inf 11 Rev 7 contains the names of the candidate state parties for the election. May I see them on the screen if my colleagues can manage? Thank you very much. Group 1, Germany is the only candidate for 1 vacant seat. Group 2, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Estonia, Slovakia, Uzbekistan are candidates for 2 vacant seats. Group 3, Paraguay is the only candidate for 1 vacant seat. Group 4, Bangladesh, Cambodia, India, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam are candidates for 4 vacant seats. Group 5A, Angola, Burkina Faso, and Ethiopia are the only candidates for 3 vacant seats. And finally, Group 5B, Iraq and Mauritania are candidates for 1 vacant seat. As indicated in the provisional timetable, voting will take place in room 3 and room 5 from 1 to 5 on Wednesday, 6 July, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow lunchtime in rooms 3 and 5, just outside of this room. This would allow sufficient time for the voting and the counting of ballots, as well as the possibility for a second secret ballot if so required. Before the voting, 2 volunteers among the delegates shall be designated as tellers. The teller's presence is required during the voting period and for the counting of the ballots, which will take place immediately following the end of the voting. In order to facilitate the process, the Secretariat has identified 2 delegates who have kindly accepted to assume the role of tellers. And they are Ms. Paola Gomez Baraleta from Panama and Mr. Julius Shoboy Mwahunga from Kenya. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Fumiko. Dear members of the committee, may I first consider that the list of candidates states parties at hand as the definitive and final one. Thank you. I note that the 2 tellers have been identified. I would like to seek a confirmation that our tellers are indeed available to perform the duties. Ms. Paula Gomez Barleta from Panama.
I confirm that I am ready to perform my duties. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Julius Shoboy Mwahunga from Kenya.
I confirm, Madam Chair, that I'm ready to do the assigned duties. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to hear the procedure for the voting itself. Let me give the floor once again to Fumiko, please. India would like to speak. But before that, India, you have the floor.
Excellency, good evening to you. We would like to have a clarification from the Secretariat because what she said and what we heard, she said it would be between, during the lunchtime, the voting would be between 3 and 5. Is that what you said, or it was 1,300 hours and 1,500 hours? Can you please repeat what you said? Thank you.
Excuse me if I made a mistake. The voting hour is from 1 to 3, 13 to?
Paris time.
Paris time. Was I clear this time?
Thank you, Excellency.
Let's proceed. We need to hear the procedure for the voting itself. Let me give the floor once again to Fumiko, please.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Donc, le 23 juin, le secrétariat a envoyé à tous les États parties un message circulaire contenant des informations sur la procédure d'élection des membres du comité. Donc, comme indiqué précédemment, la vote aura lieu dans la salle 3 et la salle 5 pendant la pause déjeuner demain. Il y aura 2 bureaux de vote disponibles dans chaque salle, c'est-à-dire 4 bureaux de vote au total. Veuillez noter qu'il n'y aura pas d'horaire de vote spécifique attribué à chaque État partie et que les États parties peuvent venir voter dans ces salles désignées à tout moment, à la date et pendant les horaires proposés. Devant la salle 3 et la salle 5, des indications seront affichées pour informer chaque État partie du bureau de vote qui lui correspond. Ces mêmes indications sont affichées sur les écrans pour votre information. Dans les salles, le secrétariat distribuera 3 bulletins pour les groupes 2, 4 et 5B. Chaque État partie est appelé à voter pour ces 3 groupes électoraux et non pas seulement pour le groupe dont il est membre. Les candidats ayant obtenu le plus grand nombre de voix seront déclarés élus à concurrence du nombre de sièges à pourvoir dans chaque groupe électoral. Chaque bulletin porte les noms des États parties candidats à l'élection pour le groupe en question avec une indication du nombre de sièges à pourvoir. Vous êtes invités à entourer d'un cercle les noms des États dans les cercles les noms des États pour lesquels vous souhaitez voter, tel que montré sur les écrans. Ce qui signifie que vous ne pouvez pas mettre un X ou souligner un État candidat. Votre règlement intérieur demande que le nom de l'État soit entré d'un cercle et vos scrutateurs invalideront tout bulletin qui n'est pas conforme. Merci de faire attention à ne pas entrer plus de noms que de sièges à pourvoir par groupe électoral, faute de quoi votre bulletin sera considéré comme nul. Ensuite, pliez les bulletins, mettez-les tout dans l'enveloppe et fermez l'enveloppe, s'il vous plaît. Veuillez à ne rien inscrire sur les enveloppes. L'absence de bulletin dans l'enveloppe est considérée comme une abstention. Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente.
And thank you again, Fumiko, for the explanation. Dear members of the committee, I would like to ask if anybody has questions. Okay. It seems that all is clear and in order. Now I would like to suspend item 11. And for the formal adoption of the draft decision, we will reopen item 11 later on in the session to officially recognize the results of the election. Before that, I shall announce the results informally in the plenary once the counting of the votes is completed. This item is suspended. I hereby reopen the session again just for a short reminder. Before we close, I would like to remind you that the Bureau will meet tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. in room 6. Thank you to the vice chairpersons from Belgium, Croatia, Venezuela, Madagascar, Syria, and Arab Republic, as well as to our rapporteur, Ms. Daniela Rodriguez Uribe, for being punctual so that we can start at the scheduled time. 9:30 a.m., room 6. Allow me also to remind delegates about the timing for voting for the election of committee members. It will take place in room 3 and room 5 from 1 to 3 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, the 6th of July. Signs will be posted in front of the designated rooms informing states parties of the voting booth that they should use. I will now hand the floor over to the Secretariat for some announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would like to inform delegates of a side event taking place this evening. The ICH NGO Forum and ICHCAT will be launching their latest publication in their Living Heritage series, Traditional Musical Instruments, Sharing Experiences from the Field. This will take place in room 6 from 6:30 to 8 p.m. this evening. Thank you so much.
Item 11 is resuspended.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Grenada, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and sorry for reopening the issue. One question, when and how are we going to get the voting ballots? Because some delegations are not present here and will be coming tomorrow. We would like to know how we are going to receive the ballots in this room or in the voting rooms. Thank you.
I pass that question to the Secretariat.
No, as always it has been done. It will be in front of the room 3 and 5. So they will receive it and there will be the list so that you know in what room you have to vote. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.